gotkushTV. After a stellar 2019, your number one Black conscious media platform is getting ready to go into overdrive for 2020. As we promised, last year, we launched The Inside. We premiered the pilot for the Black Group Economic Show. We dropped 2 new seasons of Wordsmith, the number one platform for artists with a message in the music. We've seen you out on the road, the Black Carpet Awards, the Reparations March, the Legacy Center of Excellence, and more. We brought you Dr. Mumbi, the legendary Bob Andy, Queen Diambi, Kemi Seba, Esther Stanford Jose, Leo Mohammed, Brother Leader Badaka, and more. And now, 2020 is set to see gotkushTV taking it to the next level. First up, look out for the official launch of the gotkushTV website, your official portal for all things GKTV, including new shows, news, views, and reviews, soon to be serving you with advertising opportunities and the launch of the GKTV African market. gotkushtv.com will also be a global hub for all things Black, conscious, and empowering from all over the Black world. Black achievers, Black excellence, education, health, positive Black imagery, entrepreneurs, Black brands, and charity work. All this and more can be found here at gotkushtv.com. Then there's the new show, The Cypher, the dynamic discussion and debate show. Health is Wealth, practical tips for living in wellness. Kush Communiversity, home of Black Warrior Scholarship. And UK Fire Entertainment, bringing you a slew of music videos for your listening and viewing pleasure. Look out for more of The Insight, Wordsmith, and the full 3rd season of the Black Group Economic Show, all coming your way soon. As always, the GKTV film team is available for hire to cover your events and all filming needs. Visit us at gotkushtv.com for hire inquiries and more information. Stand by all Black businesses through our website, social media, and show content. We have monumental advertising, sponsorship, and network opportunities catering specially for you. gotkushTV is about to take off. To join us for the ride, there's 4 things you can do. 1, subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell to make sure you don't miss a release. Join us on all social media and hit up gotkushtv.com to subscribe to our mailing list for exclusive opportunities in the near future. 2, like. Let us know you're feeling our content by hitting that ever so important button of approval. 3, comment. We want to hear your feedback on everything we're putting out, so make sure your presence is felt in the comment section. 4, share. Spread the word by hitting that share button and exposing your circle to the magnificence that is gotkushTV. We look forward to building with you throughout 2020 and servicing you with high quality Black media production. gotkushTV. Beyond discussion, beyond debate, we put the power in Black media. gotkushtv.com is now opening for you to advertise, calling all businesses, promoters, event organizers, artists, service providers, content creators, and brands of every kind. If you are looking to share your business or services with a growing and diverse audience, gotkushTV is the space for you. Advertising space is available all over the website. You can advertise here, 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 and you can even advertise here. All spaces are going at very reasonable rates, and we even have a design and production service, especially for those who will need an advert designed or produced for you. For inquiries, don't hesitate to contact us. info@gotkushtv.com. Advertising on gotkushtv.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is The Cypher, and these are lovely fellas. African versus Caribbean versus British.
I'll say to my African, but no, you're not.
Everyone's Africanness comes innately. I went to Jamaica earlier this year, and I know I'm not Jamaican. They don't look at me as Jamaican. Yeah.
I don't like people just wearing a dashiki and wearing stuff and just saying, yeah, I'm African now. That's very fake to me.
You protect people, want to claim Africa, like it's some superior, something. This being a semicircle, and you, the audience, you get in the circle.
1 2 microphone check. 1 2 1 2. Peace and blessings, kings and queens. You're locked on to the one and only gotkushTV, your number one black conscious media platform coming out of the UK. We want to send a greetings to everyone locked in right about now. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, kings and queens. Welcome to another quarantine convos. And I kid you not, family, this is an extra special one, but we're gonna get to that in a second, family. We just want to send a special shout out to everyone who joined us yesterday for our very first Decipher Lockdown Live. Yes, indeed, kings and queens. We took our new show, Decipher, to a live experience so that we could interact with you, the audience. And thank you very much for all of the positive feedback that you have been giving us in relation to all things Decipher. We look forward to growing that show along with you all, family. Yes, indeed, we look forward to it. We look forward to it. You know what I mean? Check it out right about now. You can check out Decipher Lockdown Live yesterday. And you can check out the first episode of our show Decipher, where the panel was addressing the issue of the Africans versus Caribbean versus British, looking at our identity and our culture as Africans in the UK from here on out. Yes, indeed, family, it was levels, and yesterday the panel was able to respond directly to a lot of the interesting commentary that was filling up the comment section of that video. So we appreciate that, family. Keep it coming, keep it coming. Enter the cipher, because that cipher is completed by you all. So we look forward to more interactions where that is concerned. And also, by way of announcements, we look forward to you joining us for Black Lives Matter, Black Power, Reparations, featuring some of the stalwarts of the African Emancipation Day Reparations March Committee and the Stop the Maangamizi campaign, namely Esther Stanford Jose, Leo Mohammed, and Jendai Serwa. Yes, indeed, Free the Hard Way, kings and queens, delving deep into the connectivity and differences between these three movement building concepts and how we as a people move forward towards Black liberation and Pan-African nation building. One of the most beautiful things about this event, other than the fact that enough knowledge is going to be dropped, and not just knowledge, but practical information as to how ones and ones can get involved in the reparations movement, it's also absolutely free. It's also absolutely free as long as you register. So you must register now at gotkushTV.co.uk/events. Once again, that's gotkushTV.co.uk/events. Black Lives Matter, Black Power, Reparations, taking place on the 26th of July. From 6 p.m. family. Once again, gotkushTV.co.uk/events for all information and ticket bookings that you will require. All right, as we go into the show for today. Now, family, this, without a doubt, is one of our most important conversations as regards to quarantine convos. Now, I'm a man that I try to live by a maxim, which is that positive reinforcement trumps negative reinforcement. And as a people, we have a lot of conversations about the conversations that we don't have. Yeah. So we always say we don't address this subject, and we don't address this subject, and we don't address. And one of those subjects that we say that we don't address is Black mental health. Yeah, mental health in our community is a significant issue, and oftentimes when we talk about it, it is for the sake of saying we don't talk about it. So instead of just having that conversation, and yesterday, in fact, on quarantine conference, on this Cypher Live, Lockdown Live, there was a conversation about how our community is being affected by lockdown, by isolation, and the mental health implications of this reality right about now. And so we could delve into the statistics and how it's affecting us, but in doing so, I always think it's important to profile the people in our community that are doing the work, that are addressing the issue, so that we can address it through highlighting their work, and whilst addressing it, provide a way, a means, a project, an institution for our community to engage in. And so today is one such day, because positive reinforcement is always more effective in the long run than negative reinforcement. I we at gotkushTV are proud to bring to you the one and the only CeeKa DaCrafta. Yes, indeed, kings and queens of Inside My Art project. You know what I mean? Now, I'm also blessed, you know, family, because I'm a Pan-African community pitney, and I always like to speak to Pan-African community pitney. And so CeeKa is also, you know, a Pan-African community pitney. We call everybody. We got the same aunties and uncles. You know what I'm saying? You know, the same people conducting all our naming ceremonies. And you know what I'm saying? And all them something there. So blessings and greetings to you, my sister.
Greetings. How you doing? Thank you for inviting me on to speak. This is the first time I'm doing it, so you're going to hear a lot of and ahhing, but I'm going to do my best. And yes, I'm looking forward to speaking to everybody if anyone's got any questions later down as well.
Give thanks, family. All right, so CeeKa DaCrafta is in the building. Yeah, just bigging up the chat. I always big up the chat, so forgive me, family, but big up Kemo Ben Israel, Western Goddess, Planter Jason, big up I Am That I Am. Big up Damn, I just know. Oh, sorry, big up I Am. Yeah, that's I Am. Okay, all right, cool. And big up Chef Oishi Garcia, I believe that is. You done know, yeah. Share the link far and wide, kings and queens. Share the link far and wide, and look up the video. Sorry, look up the video. Like up the video, yeah, as you come through, yeah. Like up the video as you come through. If you are not subscribed to gotkushTV, subscribe to gotkushTV. And we look forward to you joining us on this beautiful journey that is developing Black media. Right. So CeeKa DaCrafta.
Yes.
Just for people that don't know who you are, just give them an introduction, yeah, so that they can find out, you know, a little bit about yourself.
So I describe myself as an all-round creative. I studied fine art and design in school, college, uni. I've done a bit of music production, so there's some people out there that might know me for that from back in the MySpace days as well. But creative expression has always been something that is important to me. And mental health, linking the two and within the community that we come from has always been an interest to me as well. So that's how I stumbled upon art therapy.
All right. Well, we're not going to hot you up about the production and when you're going to be doing it again, where we can get some beats and all these things. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
From you from in a while, so yeah.
Yeah, man. But but we should probably let the people know that like you know, CeeKa, like she's got classics, yeah, in the underground, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you get me? In fact, yeah, I've got a personal you know, blessing from CeeKa, because when I started Messiah Storm in 2006, one of the main artists that has featured on Messiah Storm was a man by the name of Gallen, yeah. And he always used to come flooded with beats from Sister CeeKa, yeah, and blow up the place at Messiah Storm. And so Messiah Storm wouldn't even really have been what it was, yeah, without some of these beats. So we just got to pay homage, you know, and say to that history right there. And we know that you're gonna come back soon, and just make sure that I'm first in line for a rhythm. Actually, like if Gallen's got a rhythm first, I'll stand behind him in the queue. But I got to be after Gallen, you know what I mean?
We have like one or two more that he hasn't used, but it's funny because when I actually went to study art therapy, there was a music therapy course as well.
Right.
So I was torn. It was like, which way do I go, kind of thing. But yeah, that's a whole nother area that I'd like to explore at some point.
Well, you know, you can come back to it, you know, whenever too young to old to learn, innit? So I say it, go. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? All right, sis. So in that respect now, like this thing, because when we think about therapy, yeah, what we normally think about is we're gonna go and, you know, sit down or lie down on a sofa, and someone's gonna ask us some questions, yeah, and we're gonna engage, notepad, yeah, you know what I'm saying, and we're gonna engage in some exploration or some conversation with this individual. Is that the case where art therapy is concerned?
No, and so one of the reasons why I found art therapy attractive is, as a community, we don't like to talk. When it comes to speaking, like you said, the things that are important, so feelings, emotions, stress, depression, what's that? We don't deal with things. We just bottle it in and keep it moving, keep it going. You know, we don't really talk about things. And what I found, because my background is working with young people, and what I found working with a lot of young people, especially a lot of young Black people, is finding the words for them to describe how they're feeling or what their thoughts are, or around their confidence and stuff. Finding the words for it was like really hard for them. So one of the things with art therapy is it doesn't have to be about talking. So the actual art that you make, that is what speaks for you. And also, like, I think when people hear about art therapy, they think, oh, I'm going to go and I'm going to do a painting, and the therapist is going to look at it and say, yeah, you drew a tree, and because the tree is short and it doesn't have leaves, it means this. And it's not even that. It's literally the therapist is holding space for you while you're art making. And we speak about, or we observe how the art materials are used, how the feeling in the room is. So it's more about energy as well. It's not about speaking and saying, yes, this is what's going on. And then it's about analyzing the work with the client. So instead of me saying to the client, I see this or I see that,
right,
I'll say to the client, you know, I might notice that you used a lot of red, or how did it feel using the paint? Because those kind of things tap into your inner child.
okay,
And the inner child is that's where a lot of your original feelings and your subconscious feelings and thoughts are seated.
okay.
Right. So the
Yes.
artwork, actually doing the artwork, kind of allows you to tap into that without actually having to find the words to tap into it. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally. All right. So then, if this question now, you may have just answered it slightly, yeah. But let me ask it directly, just in case there's anything missed out. What exactly is art therapy?
Art therapy is counseling, but counseling with a qualified therapist in a safe space that allows you to express yourself creatively with no judgment, nothing. So that means if you want to start tearing up paper, throwing paint around, well, not throwing paint around too much, but allow it, but you know, that kind of expression and allowing out that primal expression without trying to intellectualize it or put, you know, big words to it and say, oh, I'm feeling this or I'm feeling that. It's about creative expression, and within that creative expression, feelings and thoughts and ideas about what you're going through will come up, and that's where the therapist comes in to have that safe, contained conversation with you around what happens in that session.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's put this now into context, because obviously therapy is a tool that in this society is employed for addressing certain issues to do with mental health. Okay, so in terms of you becoming qualified, what have you learned about mental health, particularly as it relates to the Black community in the UK?
One of the main things I learned when I was studying is there isn't much research around alternative therapies and services. So the effect of alternative therapies within the Black community, as you know, that there are a lot of people that are sectioned and go through the mental health system. What I find is that a lot of people I've spoken to, the alternative therapies aren't really offered, and it's more diagnosis and medication, you know. So there's that cycle of, it's just like not really treating, it's just curing what's happening right there, but they're not really treating. No, they're treating what's happening, but not curing holistically what's going on. Another thing I've found is that a lot of diagnoses is like people get misdiagnosed a lot.
Right.
And there's a lot of misunderstanding around mental health within our community, that it further suppresses people speaking about mental health to anybody.
So in this sense now, because we always hear that wherever the statistic is, Black people are featured in the worst of it. Yeah, so there's more of us in prison. You know, there's more of us excluded from school. There's more of us in unemployment. But one of the things that is lesser known is the levels of us that are in mental health institutions, and also the fact that when we talk about deaths in custody, there's a significant issue in terms of us being us dying in custody in relation to being sectioned, yeah, being arrested by mental health professionals, not just the police, if that makes sense. So in that regard, are you up on, is there any specific information that you have in terms of some of the conditions that most affect Black people as it relates to mental health?
What I find a lot is most people, when they get to the stage of being sectioned, it's because there's been a longer term history of going through mental health, and it could have started mild depression, anxiety. You know, there's like economical things, there's social things that impact on people, and they don't think about it. And as I said, we just bottle things up and we keep going. Bereavement, like in relation to when you messaged me and said to me you wanted to speak to me about lockdown and mental health, that is something that a lot of people have been suffering with a lot. Because we're a communal people. You know, we like to have gatherings, we like to be around each other. A lot of people have loved ones in this period of time, and I've even had to attend funerals online. And it's it's like a surreal thing that we're experiencing right now. Definitely. And it's a build up of these kinds of like micro things, and it builds up until it snowballs to the point where somebody snaps. And at that point, you know, this is when you'll find people getting sectioned and being medicated. So my thing to people, I'm always saying to people, even if it's a small problem, just talk to somebody. Pick up the phone, call someone, talk to someone. You know, that's one of the main preventative things that you can do to help yourself.
Is art therapy, in terms of the profession now, is art therapy a place where you're going to find a lot of African practitioners?
I'd hope so. Yeah, I'd hope so. I know that there's so one of the things I noted down is Bartin. This is a resource that you can go to online. It's the Black, African and Asian Therapy Network. Right. And that network was put together specifically to pool all of like the psychologists, therapists, art therapists, counselors from Black, Asian and African communities. What I found when I was studying, there's a small amount of Black art therapists, and I'm hoping it's something that there will be more of, because like the whole concept of art therapy, I think is something that goes hand in hand with how we communicate as a culture. Because, you know, before written words, we communicated with hieroglyphs, with images. So there's there's a deeper connection to actually creating images and getting meanings from those images. So I would like to see more Black art therapists out there. Yes, especially male as well. That I'm always saying to my male friends, like, you know, train up, be a counselor, because male therapist is something that is needed.
Interesting. You preempted one of my future questions in terms of how art therapy relates to us culturally, but I'll come back to that. And just touch on this issue of the isolation, and the lockdown, So obviously, like in terms, obviously, just from your observation, I don't know if you've done any, because observation is different to research, isn't it? So I don't know if you've done any research, but obviously you must have been observing. Like how have you, how was the, other than that, the social element, how do you think our community has been dealing or functioning within the context of the lockdown? And I'll give you an example before you answer. My family have been running a food relief program, and when my father was on some weeks ago, and we asked him about it, he was saying that, you know, the food program turned into a counseling thing, because you go to people's door to have enough food, and they ain't seen nobody in, you know, a week, 2 weeks, a month, you know what I'm saying? And so they were sort of talk about, you know, their experiences and their stresses and their anxieties. And luckily, my father has a background in social work, so he has got skills where that is concerned. But I'm just sharing that as an anecdote of some of the things that are going on, you know what I'm saying, for people that are serving our community during this time. So what are some of the things that you have come across in terms of our community addressing isolation and lockdown?
I mean, it's you know, like there's going to be two sides to everything. Some people aren't handling it well, others are handling it quite well. One of the good things that I have seen come out of it is a sense of community, even though it's more online. So, you know, people willing to help more and people even being more open to speaking about mental health. That is one of the things that it's been a beautiful thing to see, is that openness about mental health and admitting that, you know, this is something that we do need to take seriously.
Right.
You know, but also on the other hand, there's a lot of stuff going on where a lot of people aren't handling it well. So there is never a, you know, one answer kind of thing.
No, most def. Is in the world of therapy, is art therapy respected as a discipline?
I wouldn't say it's not that it's not respected. It's kind of like it's still kind of, it's not even new, but it's like new.
Right.
You know, popular forms of therapy that is spoken about, because even when I found out about it, it was like, oh, art therapy, what's that? Because I'm a visual artist. And then I've heard that there's this thing that I can do with my art that is like psychological. You know, kind of new to me, but it's something that's been around for a very, very long time. It's just that it's not popular. And one of the perceptions that I had when I first got into it is that it's something that wealthier or rich people would do.
Right.
But then within our community, things like seeing a therapist, paying to go and see a psychiatrist or a psychologist or whatever, even if nothing's wrong with you, isn't something that we see as, you know, something that we do. So yeah.
Serious thing. All right, so quickly before I ask the next question, bigging up the chat and everybody in it. We are going to be opening up the lines a little bit later on, for ones who want to ask CeeKa a question, you know, see some inquiries or make a or even contribute to the knowledge that she's dropping on the show. Feel free to join us a little bit later on, so do stay tuned. If you are unable to come live with us and you just want to ask a question in the chat, do so just at gotkushTV. At gotkushTV, I'll see and I'll ask the question. Share the link, family, far and wide. Let the people them know. So we're talking to CeeKa DaCrafta about art therapy and mental health in our community right about now. It's a very, very important conversation, and so we look forward to more ones joining us, and all those who will be watching it via the replay. Bigging up Chantel McLean and Unwale and Adrian, who have joined us since and Bugs Negus, who have joined us since I last gave the big ups to them, you know what I'm saying, for the chat. All right, family. So back to this thing now. So in relation to this concept of art therapy, are there like you mentioned that it's not necessarily so vocal, or verbal, art therapy. Are there any other unique ways in which art therapy differs from other conventional types of therapy?
The room, because, you know, you think, like you said in the beginning, you think a therapy room, or going to see a counselor,
right?
And you go into a room, there's a couch, there's someone sitting down with a clipboard. Usually, ideally, if you go to see an art therapist, you're going to be in an art studio. Right. So it's like a different type of setting from the outset, kind of thing. Right. Another thing, which, like, you know, what to expect if you do go for an art therapy, start signing up for art therapy sessions, is in your first session, you'd have like an assessment done. And usually it's not like a tick box filling off a form, because like with normal counselors, you would have, when I say normal counselors, talking therapy counseling, you'd have like a form that you fill out. With most art therapists, they do have a form, like an assessment form that they do, but the session is usually an art making session. And it's to see how comfortable you are, like art making in that space and being observed by a therapist, because that can be quite nerve-wracking as well. So yeah, there's usually an assessment, and then you have a discussion about what your expectations are from the therapist. Right. The therapist gives you a few little, not rules, but you kind of make like an agreement with each other on how to keep the space safe. And
right.
Yeah, it's more like having an agreement, and it's not as clinical. That's what I like about it. It's not as clinical as going to see like a talking therapist.
Okay. So in that sense now, based upon that now, somebody might be questioning the effectiveness of the form of therapy. Like, you know, I'm just gonna go in, I'm gonna draw something on a page, and I'm gonna feel what you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so what do you say to somebody who's saying that?
Come and do a session. Like, you seriously, when I first did finished my qualification, and a lot of my friends would say to me like, what is art therapy? And it's so abstract that it's sometimes I find it hard to explain.
Right.
In an art therapy session, at the end of it, you're going to see the purpose within it, because as I said, you can have guided sessions. So I could do a session with you where I actually give you an exercise to do. For example, okay, shameless plug, I've designed art therapy oracle deck. If you could be good.
Yep.
On my website, and it gives you like different exercises, like art making exercises, and at the end of it, it has different prompts for you to write in a journal, for you to think about the artwork that you've created. So for instance, I might say draw a tree, but I'm not going to interpret what the tree is. I'll say, was it a tree from your childhood? When you were drawing the leaves, what did it make you think? What did it make you feel? Now, as you're answering those type of questions, it gets you to start thinking about your thoughts, your feelings, how you react to things, how objects, colors, you know, how things affect you and impact on you in your subconscious self.
Right.
So it's really abstract, but doing the actual art therapy session, you'll see a point. It's not like getting an adult coloring book and just coloring.
But even that, because for some people that's therapy. Like the song the song what do you call it now? Cranes in the Sky comes to mind. What's it called? What's the name? Solange. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Say again?
That's one of my favorite artists, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, like, well, I don't know if it's one of my favorite artists, but that's one of my favorite songs. Like, musically and lyrically, it's a bad man tune, isn't it? Like, the bass line is eternal, but you know what I mean? Like, but the lyrics obviously in it, you know what I'm saying? You know, she does all these things, you know, she tried to read it away or text it away or, you know, whatever it is. And sometimes we do these things like when we need to relax, you know, we take a hot bath or, you know, we read or we listen to some music or whatever, but we don't necessarily consider them therapy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it seems to be that there's the word that comes to mind is there's an intuitive, it's an intuitive thing. Like art therapy is very intuitive. Am I correct in thinking that?
Yeah, it is. And it's always based on the individual. So each person I work with, I do groups as well. It's about the energy, as I say, in each session. So each session is to come with something different.
So then, so is it a free for all? Like you come into a room and just do what you want, or are there like structured activities as well? That as there might be in other forms of therapy.
Yeah, there's both ways. So you have open studio sessions where it's literally an open studio. You can come in, do some art making and leave. You don't have to talk to nobody. You don't have to do anything. This is like in a group setting.
Right.
And then you'd have closed studio settings for groups where it would be themed around something. So there may not be like a specific thing that you're told to do, but there's like a theme. So one of my workshops that I did is called Her Aim, and it's a 6-week program for Black women exploring experiences of being a Black woman in this current society. So each week, the artwork kind of prompts you to explore different aspects of yourself. And then in individual sessions, it's the same thing again. It could be guided, where I'm, you know, giving you something to do. But I do prefer free expression because that's when things come out naturally, without any prompting or me putting things into, you know, into the ethers kind of thing.
So I'm gonna put something in your mind, yeah. But you mentioned about the session specific to Black women. I wonder if you ever heard or seen or engaged in couples art therapy.
I haven't engaged in it, but it's
It's a
something.
thing.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I say that is because it just came to my mind, yeah. So like, yeah, but in that sense, it may be a good way for. Yeah, I just see that. It just came to my head that that might be a good way for people to explore their relationships, through art therapy, and we definitely need it in the community. So
It
yeah,
sounds interesting. It does sound interesting. Yeah. So when it comes to planning, like this is the thing, because I'm very protective of, like, you know, like when I plan these, because it's not like
yeah,
it sounds all arty and, you know, yeah, you just draw, but there's a serious element to it as well. You know? So there's a lot of things that you have to think about when you're planning.
yes.
Questions like the dynamics, how is it going to work? Is it going to be safe? You know, those kind of things. But that sounds interesting for real.
All right, so then let's get specifically now to inside my art studio, and then I'm going to open up for anybody who wants to come on and speak to CeeKa. So, like, basically, you've got your own company now. Yeah, you're qualified in the thing. You know what I'm saying? How long was the course?
So it should have been 3 years.
Right.
Part-time 3 years,
Yeah.
full-time 2 years.
Right.
And the interesting thing is it took me 5 years, because while I was studying, life happens. You know, there was bereavements. There's so many things that happened, and it's like that was all a learning as I was studying as well. So 5 years. I've been qualified now about 3 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then did you establish inside my art project immediately, or did it take you a while?
Yeah, I did. Even though before I was qualified, because to be operating as an art therapist and to do art therapy, you have to be registered, you have to be qualified. So, you know, I'm very careful about how the sessions that I give and stuff like that. So it wasn't something I started straight away because I wasn't qualified. But now, you know, I do workshops and stuff like that. Yeah.
Now, I'm asking you these questions because I want people to understand that you're coming with a level of expertise and study. There's a lot of I don't want to say horror stories, but critique in terms of all this, like this airy fairy healing arts. Yeah, there are a lot of people that are operating in the healing arts. There are a lot of people that have taken healing art services that have a lot of negative stories to tell based upon the people that have conducted those services, if that makes sense. And what knowledge and what level of information that they're coming with. And so I'm asking you these questions so people can understand that this is a journey. You didn't just get up one day and decide that you're an art therapist. And you know what I mean? Yeah.
And funny enough, art therapy I stumbled across. I went to an Alim Bey lecture.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I went to Alim Bey. He came over here. This is years ago now. And I went with my friends, and his lecture, he was speaking about art therapy. And that was the first thing. It was like, whoa, I've never heard of this thing before. So I started researching. Because everybody, you know, my friends are saying, oh, you do art, you might as well do art therapy, you know, you're into these things. I said, okay, let me look into it. You cannot practice as an art therapist without completing the masters and being qualified.
Right.
There's like boards you have to register with. One of them is the British Association of Art Therapists. Another one is HCPC. I think I'm saying it wrong, these anagram. You know, but people who know about qualified therapists and stuff, they will be aware. You can't just get up and say, yeah, I'm going to be an art therapist and start doing art therapy.
Right.
And that was something that I wanted to be very, very strict on. Because as you said, like there's a lot of people that just get up and say, you know, I'm this therapist or I'm this type of healer. And it can cause a lot of damage to people. And there's no accountability for that type of work. So something that I wanted to make sure that I've got the qualifications. So when I say this is what I'm doing, you know, I'm not talking rubbish. It's something I've actually studied and researched into.
All right. So on that point now, sorry.
Very important that people pay attention to, you know, like if they do go and look for a therapist or anything like that, just pay attention to their background and qualifications. I know, yes, we live in Western world, and some people don't believe that Western qualifications and stuff, but it's validation.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
on that point, I think it's just important that if that is an issue for us, then we have to develop our own systems of accreditation and accountability.
of
It
course.
doesn't make sense to this.
Yeah.
Go on.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna say it doesn't make sense just to say we don't want to deal with Babylon if we're not building our own. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah, but go, I think you was gonna respond.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that there are things where we do need that accreditation, but as long as you're existing in Babylon,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
to make sure you have the things to make you be able to get through
certain doors.
this paradigm.
Yes. So in relation to that now, what are some of the things that Inside My Art Project has done since it's been operating?
So this summer's out, but I usually do arts and crafts workshops over the summer with play schemes. I'm also, like, I work full time as a learning support assistant in colleges.
Right.
And something that I incorporate into my work with young people. I work with like young people with learning disabilities, physical disabilities as well. So it's very useful with that client group. Run workshops in the community, and hopefully when things get a bit more better, that's something I want to do again. I work with other groups as well, doing art therapy sessions for them. Yeah.
Beautiful. All right, and you've prompted me to ask a next question, but what I'm gonna do first is share out the link, to the chat to see if anybody wants to come and join, man. So you can join the conversation, speak to CeeKa and myself, and ask some questions. Share your experience with art therapy. Maybe you're an art therapist or a therapist in general, and you want to add to the expertise and the knowledge that CeeKa is dropping. So feel free to come through. The link is in the chat, Kings and Queens. If you're watching on Facebook, well, it's going to post on both. But I do encourage you to come through to YouTube because there's sort of thing there. All right. Now, when it comes to this craft here, I get the impression that you mentioned it earlier that certain practices or certain approaches to art therapy are designed to bring out your inner child. Yeah, I imagine that this form of therapy would be particularly beneficial for children. Am I correct?
It is, and again, why it's very beneficial for children is because children do not have that developed vocabulary to verbalize what's going on with them. So again, it's about what comes out in their artwork. And this again goes back to before written word. We had myths, we had fairy tales, Anansi stories, Miss Lou, all of those kind of things, like folklores and stuff, they had like meanings within them. So working with children, you'll usually find that they make up stories and stuff, and there's meanings in the stories that can come out, which wouldn't come out if you just sat down in a room with a child and said, so tell me how you're feeling, It's very, very useful with children.
I hear that. And in this sense now, because do you bring spirituality into your work?
Only if it's important to the client. So, I like to work on the individual. You've got different types of like ways of working within therapy, and I like to work on an individualistic approach to clients.
Right.
Whatever they come with, that's what I work with. I'm not going to say to them, if they come with talking about spirituality, I'm not going to say, that's rubbish because scientifically, no, I'm working with the client and we're trying to build like a level of communication. So
okay. The reason why I asked that question is in relation to like us as a people culturally. We come from a lot of a varied amount of spiritual traditions, and so we intuitively think in that kind of way. So I'm like, well, like, so when you're mentioning like our culture and you talk about hieroglyphics, but obviously that was a part of there was a spiritual system associated with that. You know what I'm saying? And then you have a lot of us that get into Ifa now, but whereby the rituals are very. Mama Marimba Ani, she has a quote where she said something about I don't want to do it.
I think I've got that book. Is it the mask one?
No, let the circle be unbroken. It's called.
Okay.
Yeah, but she speaks about the role of art in ritual.
Yes.
If that makes sense, like so, how all of our rituals are artistic expressions, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's why I was asking that question, and then it was relating to that idea. Sorry, go on.
No, because you just hit a point
Yeah.
where you was asking me about Black art therapists and my experiences of studying.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things that stood out to me as well, is that the what's the word? Like a lot of the teachings and a lot of the research, a lot of the material that we are referred to is coming from a Western viewpoint. So this is something I'm coming up against as well. And having to say, well, you know, like culturally, especially if you're working with clients from specific cultures, because we're dealing with imagery. So the basis is like a lot of Carl Jung, because he deals with symbols more than, say, Sigmund Freud. So a lot of the basic art therapy is around Carl Jung and symbolism. But again, it's a symbolism and, you know, from the view of a white Western male. So there was a lot of those things that came up. And also with art therapy, as I said, it's about the inner child. So it's a lot of the work is about family and tapping into the child, attachments that are formed within a person from birth and throughout. And the construct of it is the family structure of mother, father, child. And again, what I kept coming up against when that, you know, a lot of things in studies was, well, within a lot of Black communities, ethnic communities, that family structure isn't always so structured, because more like you might have grandmother taking care of grandchild because the parents have emigrated somewhere else to make a living, or you have auntie and uncle, and then, you know, you have aunties and uncles who aren't actually your blood aunties and uncles, like me and you are family, but, you know, not so-called DNA blood family. So the structure is different. That's why I keep talking about culture when I mention art therapy, because it was important to me to keep injecting that in.
Right. And you know, sorry, before I go further, let me just big up brother Amosu, who's joined us. We mentioned you earlier, bro, in relation to all these classic beats that you were hotting up Messiah Storm with. And so I've kindly said that when CeeKa returns to the chem ethic, we're gonna I'm next in line after you. Yeah, you're the only person that's allowed to go in front of me for a beat. All right. Brother Amosu, got big up yourself still. Big up Lady Spade, also in the building, saying peace and power. Kings and Queens, the link is in the chat. If you want to come through, ask a question, make a comment, or just say, yo, you know what, CeeKa, big up. Yeah, you know what I'm saying, large up. Feel free to do so. We do like to hear your voices here on gotkushTV during quarantine convos. But we know it's enough. I don't know. On the light for us, listen. So, I don't know. It's always a case of that. I've done a number of different platforms, and audiences are funny. Like they can be very fickle because there's enough of them listening, but they know what I'm talking.
People's listening, just listening. But when you're listening, just make sure that if there are things you need to talk about, talk to somebody.
Yes.
And you get me, listen and bottle things up and don't talk to somebody.
Yes.
So
you know, I'm seeing the need now, like maybe for like a reading list that we can put together for, like, you know, African Caribbean art therapists or something. You know, so we can make it more cultural. Like
there's one lady when I was studying, she's on my friends list, Olatunde Spence. And she is doing a lot of work. She's actually challenging the whole educational structure of art therapy and psychology within universities and stuff, and saying that they need to cover race more. So there are one or two out there doing some great works. Another psychologist, she's not an art therapist, but she's a psychologist, Barbara Fletchman Smith.
Right.
I used a lot of her work when I was doing my dissertations, because she studies like she's done studies on like the legacies of slavery and the impact on British Black community, because as I said, there's hardly any research out there. Does
she have a book?
We've got two. So Transcending Transcending the Legacies of Slavery,
Mhm.
and the other one is Mental Slavery. And
Okay.
they're both really interesting books.
And the sister that you mentioned prior to, you mentioned the sister before. Yes.
On Facebook. She doesn't have any books, no.
Right.
But she like I'll send you some links of what she's doing.
Yeah, please. Because I was in relation to a lot of the stuff that I do in terms of African spirituality. One of the books that I think is brilliant is a book called Self-Healing Power. Yeah. By a man by the name of Kiyabonseki Fukiao. His first name is Kimbwadene Kiyabonseki Fukiao. I've got it somewhere. I was gonna show it to the people there. 1 second. Give me 2 seconds. So yeah, it's called Self-Healing Power and Therapy. Yeah. Old teachings from Africa. Yeah. So he's from the Congo, and he's basically explaining like how self-healing power is a part of traditional indigenous African cultures and ritual systems. But he starts by looking at, the concept of the self, like what is the self? Like how do we see ourselves first and foremost? And then the different methodologies like that we would use. I'm sorry, because the self-healing power, because he's saying that it's self-healing, we have the ability to heal ourselves, but it begins with what we think we are or how we understand ourselves, and then kind of realigning ourselves to ourselves if there is an imbalance within the self. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. So yeah, it is a brilliant book. I do recommend it for a myriad of different things, but in particular for people that are engaging in therapy, I think that there's some, some paradigms here to explore. You know what I mean? So yeah. Bigging up Diana Powell, says it's saying blessings, insightful conversation. You know what I'm saying? It's like give thanks. Yes, yes, man. I'm very, very interested in this film. Like I say, we're always talking about mental health, yeah. And
we talk around it.
Right,
yeah.
Right. I agree. And I think part of the reason is because a lot of us are having the conversations on Facebook and Twitter and them kind of things there. But oftentimes the people in our community that are engaged in the field are not necessarily a part of the conversations that we're having. And one of the reasons why we've got you on is because a lot of us don't know that there are people in our community that are working in these areas. So in that respect, just I don't know how in tune or how knowledgeable you are about the Black mental health community, like practitioners in our community, and to whatever extent you can speak to that.
As in, speak to that in what way do you mean?
Like the existence of services, practitioners in our community, how well our community is aware of them, like you know what I'm saying? Like this kind of thing.
I'd say awareness. I can't, because like it's hard for me to say, our community is not aware, because there are some people that are aware.
Yeah.
But what I do know is that, and this is just me speaking from a personal perspective, there's not much information out there, like in our faces about services. I'm seeing a lot more now,
right?
Especially since lockdown started, and as I keep saying, it's a really beautiful thing that I'm seeing. Especially like on Instagram, there's a lot of pages coming up talking about therapy, encouraging people to speak about therapy, but it's not something that has been as popular in the past, so it's something that's still quite new, and it's getting there. We're getting there. We're talking about it more. People are becoming more aware. The main thing for me, as I keep saying, is this whole the trusting,
Right.
Again, this is something that I spoke about to other colleagues on my course, and like tutors and stuff, is how people can be disregarded if they go and speak to a therapist who does therapy. A lot of people are being referred for like CBT now, and that is
what's that, sir?
CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy, and it's about getting you to focus on the now, instead of worrying about external things. I'm not explaining it in depth, so I don't want no one to come on and cuss me and say, no, that's not what CBT is, but I'm just trying to give like a layman's explanation.
Got you.
Kind of thing. But as I was saying, like a lot of people will be referred for maybe 6 sessions if you go to CBT, you get referred for, I don't know if it's been shortened now, but I do know at one point it was like 6 sessions of usually CBT. And usually with a lot of Black people that do get referred, when the therapist sits with them, they come to the conclusion that there isn't anything wrong with this person, or their problems aren't as big. And the main reason is we don't trust. So even though you're being referred and you're speaking to this therapist, you're not actually telling them what's really going on with you. And they're expecting based on that and thinking, well, you're capable, you're fine, you know? So I kind of lost track of where I was going with that, but you get what you get what you know.
It's an interesting point. Like I think that we're kind of used to functioning in depression. You know what I'm saying, and these kinds of things. So it's the same with like functioning drug addicts. Like you may not know that they're addicted if you're just with them on a daily basis. We've got somebody who wants to interact with you. Greetings, witness.
Yes, greetings, Shaka. Greetings, CeeKa. I won't take up too much of the time. I just wanted to know, with art therapy, would you be able to provide help for people in the community who have schizophrenia or multiple personality disorder?
Yeah, I work with, there isn't like we can't work with anybody, and you do find that a lot of clients do have those diagnoses. Obviously, it's a case of being in communication with whoever their clinicians are and stuff like that, but it is something that anybody can use.
And I just wanted to know, would they have the freedom to come to you, or does someone decide to refer them to you for help?
Right. So you see, this is the thing, like as I was saying, GPs hardly ever do refer to art therapy straight away, but it is something that you can self-refer to. At the beginning, I mentioned 2 resources. You have BARTIN, which is the Black, Asian and African Therapist Network. And then you also have the British Association of Art Therapists. And on those 2 websites, you can search for art therapists and self-refer yourself to see an art therapist.
Oh, I see. So if you have the knowledge, you can refer yourself to the art therapist.
You can.
Because most GPs would be ignorant to do that. They wouldn't know much about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say ignorant, but it's not one of the more popular therapies that people are referred to. But you can do your research yourself, and it is a credited form of therapy that you could refer yourself to, and the therapist would be in contact with your clinicians or your GP or whoever they need to let to know how the sessions are going. But it's something that you can seek out and refer for yourself.
Thank you. And finally, would the therapy involve any administering of drugs at all?
No. So what the art therapist usually does is they work with you and or a client, and if you have a clinician, it's usually a psychologist or somebody that you are referred to who works for you, they would communicate with them, because that's the person who administers medication. So the work that we do is to advise your psychologist or therapy within the NHS, because usually when somebody is being medicated, there's someone they go to get those prescriptions. So the art therapist would communicate with that person their findings or observations from the client in the art therapy sessions, but they wouldn't prescribe medication themselves.
Okay, I see. They wouldn't prescribe medication themselves. Thank you. It's quite brave of you. I mean, if you ever do get patients who are within the community who have schizophrenia or personality disorder, I guess if the police ever turned up to make arrests and the person ended up in the judicial system, I guess the art therapists wouldn't be the first people they would think of to take that person there. But if they did bring them to you, are you provided with help, security of sorts, or
a case like that? Because if it, you know, okay, so I'm imagining you're saying that somebody who is at risk to themselves or the public, they would be in a secure setting. So that's something where I would be on contract. If that setting doesn't have a contracted art therapist, then I would go into that setting to do the work with them. But you also have people who are living in the community with the type of illnesses or conditions that you have mentioned, but they're safe to be in the community. So it's a different type of dynamic, you know, but that's why there's always an assessment with each client as well to see if it's going to be suitable and safe for them and the therapist.
Thank you very much. And on the spiritual side, because I think Shakara mentioned it, it would see you would have the knowledge to look at the drawings and you'd be able to understand what was going on through the drawings. It's almost like someone who can view dreams and predict the dreams and read the dreams.
I guess so, but the person who created the artwork, they're the creator of that image, so that's their dream. You understand? So it's not really me interpreting it, it's them presenting their dream to me. And we're now, how it's explained is that it's a three-way, like a triangular relationship. So you have the therapist, the client, and the artwork. And the artwork that the client creates is doing the talking for the client. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's not even really my interpretation. It's the client's language within that artwork that I'm viewing and observing and discussing with them.
Thanks very much. I was doing some research on it. I'd never heard of art therapy till I saw the show and saw yourself. And I noticed part of the path to getting work stipulated that after training you could get apprenticeship, and there you would be trained alongside getting your work experience. So I guess I was just curious: is there a shortage of art therapists in the UK, or is the market saturated? In your experience,
I wouldn't say there's a shortage because there are a lot of art therapists out there. It's just that within the NHS, a lot of funding cuts have impacted on the service. So that's why you will find that a lot of NHS services, you know, don't refer for art therapy anymore because the funding's not there for it. And again, it's not one of the popular forms of therapy. Most people think about a counselor or a psychologist and sitting down and talking to somebody. So it's not something that's really as popular, you know, so that's a few of the reasons why, you know, it's not really known about that much.
okay. Thank you, CeeKa, very much for your time. Thank you, Shakara. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Thank you very much, Witness. Yes, we got King Gold coming through. King Gold.
Family. Greeting.
What's your question for CeeKa?
Hi there, CeeKa. Yeah, I've got just two questions. The first one is, I was just asking you, have you been in attendance of many of these therapy sessions? And personally, what sort of benefits do you feel overall someone will experience coming with something like depression or anger? And would you say that how useful are they, and how accessible are they in and around London to someone who's got in particular, like say, depression? So and obviously suffer like say anger or something like that. So I'm just wondering, are they just from your experience, very low? What areas are they a lot around, or are they like you was just getting onto the point where you said they've been funded a lot less? So
yeah. So you do find that there are art therapy sessions happening, not as many as I would like to see. To answer your question about what type of benefits do I think someone could gain from it?
Yeah, that's a better way to put it.
I'd say that it's about understanding, the benefits is about understanding yourself. It's about self-exploration. And through doing that self-exploration, you get to start to identify and, you know, realize things that may trigger depression within you, or may trigger feelings of anger, you know. So you start to, it allows you to tap into your inner self and have that conversation and have that relationship with your inner self, and be aware of these type of triggers, so that once you have an awareness of them, you know, it's easier for you to have some type of control over how they impact on your life.
Yeah.
You know.
So I know they're quite. Sorry, sis. I know they're quite. It's something that would be you'd be referred to if you was to say be sectioned in a mental health institute or something, for example, like that. Am I right in saying that that is art therapy? Is that what they're doing?
It's not just in if you're in sections in a hospital, as I said, you can refer yourself as well.
Is it like a group session type of?
Group sessions, there's individual sessions. So what you'll find is, you know, if you do contact an art therapist, they will have individual sessions where it's just yourself and the therapist within an art space doing the art making. And then there are group sessions. But some people may not be comfortable working in a group. So, you know, it's something that you can do individually as well.
Yeah, yeah. And you can also gain credited qualifications as well, apparently, from it, or some sort of qualification to a degree.
You would gain qualifications.
Yeah, I mean, is it with your art therapy or the art therapy classes that you're aware of? Is there any type of vocation that they will get? People might make it at the end of it. Obviously, they will definitely get a good experience.
Yeah, no, it's not, because it's not really. It's not an art class or like an art design type class. We're not really teaching art. It's about therapy.
Okay, so I thought I heard someone mention it just a second ago. Okay, sure. Okay. I thought
that's an interesting question though. Like, you ever been in a session, sis, and see like a?
It's a good question.
Yeah, like it's interesting. I'm thinking like you ever been doing like a session with somebody or a group of people and see like a masterpiece? They produce a masterpiece, like and that happened to you, sis?
Oh, of course, of course. It's usually a person that's like, oh, I don't know how to draw. I can't draw.
Yeah.
So, no, but it's not for me to say now that you're a qualified fine artist, because you know,
you just say it's really, really good. Yeah.
So just before I go, thank you for your feedback. I really appreciate that. And pay homage to the work you're doing in the community. And so I was just going to say this, because for someone like myself, I feel like because I'm physically experiencing health issues, I feel like something that was quite local to me, where I could, cause I like art as well, and do something like that would actually be quite beneficial, because obviously your mind needs to be stimulated as well.
Yeah.
When creatively was always good. That's why I was asking about how much the availability, but I will definitely check it out. If you knew about the level of stuff that they were using, the, you know what I mean, that if they were sort of technology they were using, or what instruments they would be using in art. Is it like sculpturing and different? Is it all different types of art?
So when I do have sessions, I have a variety of art materials. I have paints, coloring pencils, charcoal. I have a variety of art materials. Sometimes I do clay, and it's, you know, I don't say, oh, today I want you to use paint. It's always your choice, because that is a part of the experience. It's a part of the self-identification within the therapy, is you're making that choice on what material to use. So there's a variety of materials that you'll find in an art therapy studio setting.
Yeah. Excellent. And it's good that we can go to and to one that's done as someone that's actually part of the community, as opposed to obviously NHS. because yeah, so yeah, respect for yourselves, and thanks for giving me the time. So yeah, thank you.
No problem, King Gold. The platform is yours, so we welcome you. You know what I'm saying? All the while, yeah. Give thanks for coming, and you've asked some very insightful questions.
Yes.
So
Okay.
we appreciate that. We appreciate that. Yeah. All right, family. Feel free to do as King Gold has done, and come through and join the convo. We're gonna go on for a few minutes more. So the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat if you want to come on and ask CeeKa a question pertaining to art therapy. Or add to the knowledge. Yeah? Add to the knowledge. Share your experience with art therapy or any other kind of therapy. You are welcome to do so. Very, as I said in the introduction to the show, very important conversation. That we profile. Yeah, the practitioners in our community that are helping us to address certain issues, so that we're not just going round and round in circles, having random conversations on social media about what we don't talk about, what we don't deal with. You know what I'm saying? It's important to inject some solutionary activity into these conversations, and so we give thanks for ones like CeeKa DaCrafta for for giving us the opportunity to speak to her. We truly appreciate it, and I don't want you to underestimate the work that you're doing, my sister. It's because I know from experience that these things are often unsung. They're often uncelebrated, but they don't necessarily need to be. It's just that the work is being done. Yeah. And oftentimes people don't know that the work is being done. And so sometimes we speak about ourselves and our community in very accusatory ways, just based on what we don't know. Yeah. Black people are not doing this. Black men or black women are not doing this. But there's some brothers and some sisters over here doing it. And while we're talking about what's not happening, we're not actually talking about them and the work that they're doing. And in doing so, we're losing the opportunity to provide our community with a model for how it should be done. You know what I'm saying? So you being here is that it's invaluable. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely one of my, that was one of my pushing forces. Like, as you know, from our background, it's always about community, and like how we've been brought up to give back to the community.
Yes.
How can I give something constructive back to the community?
Yes.
And
Give thanks
as well.
Give thanks. My brother Unwale.
Hey,
you're live, bro. You're live. You know what I mean?
Hey, greetings, brother. How are you?
I can't complain. How are you, bro?
Greetings, Sister CeeKa today.
Yes. Greetings.
Hey, greetings. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. It's funny because I said, hey, I was headed out, but I said, you know what, the brother Chakra's on. I gotta do a quick stop in. I've been on the computer all morning. I teach a class at university, and I also teach a class for high school students, world history, Africana studies. So I've been on the computer all day, and I said, man, I'm gonna head out, but Chakra pulled me in.
Give thanks, bro.
Peace and blessings, brother.
Bless up. I just want to show you some empathy, bro. I know how you feel because I'm often on the computer all day.
Yeah, man.
People underestimate how draining it can be to just be in front of a computer all day.
Yeah, and in education, we've had it's actually you're on the computer much more.
Yes.
It's like double the time. But this is a very interesting topic, and the reason I chimed in is because I remember having a conversation about us needing specific therapists. I remember a Bobo Ashanti brethren who had some mental health issues, and someone brought up the point of, wow, wouldn't it be great to have services within our arts and cultural dynamic, whereas anybody who's in the Rasta community have a specific type of mental health expert or person that can help them in understanding the dynamics of what they're dealing with personally, and even in the Kemetic realms or the Moorish realms, and something that I thought, and this was maybe about 6 or 7 years ago, that I thought was very interesting in us having our own therapists, like Black people need therapy because of the history of what we go through here. But then when this person was talking about a specific health, mental health therapy for the actual genres, if you will, of our cultural dynamics. How do you think about that, Sister CeeKa?
Well, this is why I went into, you know, everything you're saying is, those are the reasons why I went into this, because that dynamic of it, like when it comes to psychology and stuff, I feel like it's not really there. And this is something that why I want to expose it to the community, is to show that there are practitioners out there who will take into consideration those elements of our culture. You know, and I think it's very important that they are considered.
Yes. So definitely appreciate the work that you're doing. And appreciate you, Brother Chakra. I said, hey, I give a call in from the States. And so really appreciate everything that you're doing, sister.
Good thanks.
Thanks.
You know, you brought something to mind, because I'm not teaching at the moment. A CeeKa yoga instructor. In that respect, one of the reasons why I went into that discipline is because of its cultural specificity, but then looking at it in the sense of the fact that there's ways to organically apply it to, you know, our different, let's say, subcultures within our Black culture experience. Because like me, when I was trained, there was another Rastafari sister trained with me, and so we were discussing doing, you know, what's it called, Rastafari yoga, but with like just molding it around that specific tradition for those who access it in that, you know what I'm saying, that kind of. So there are ways to do this across our, you know, our different shades, so to speak, of our experience.
When I saw the brethren was going through what he was going through, and the sister made a comment, like, because it was funny, because you know, he was a great brother, and he had no signs of these type of things since I've known him. And then over time, things happen, and then, you know, he's, you know, yelling out different things around, you know, His Majesty, and, you know, and different stuff. And I was like, and then the sister was like, wow, wouldn't it be great if we had specific therapists around people in the Kemetic order, people, and because these are the circles that we've been around for probably 30 years or more. So we need that specificity in regards to therapy, you know, as we, you know, because so much of white supremacy and so many angles are affecting our psyche and our spirit. So appreciate the work. Appreciate the work.
Give facts about it. Give facts.
Good thanks. I'm gonna jump off because I'm about
to enjoy your day, bro. Enjoy your day.
Thank you, Sister CeeKa. Thank you again, Shaka.
Yes. You know, it's funny. I was thinking when you was asked the previous question, CeeKa, around certain thing. What are you okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Log off. You want me to let you go?
All right. Yes.
Yeah, I'll do it myself. Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's up. Because in relation to, I had an interesting image in the sense of, you know, you got all these kind of party events that are revolved around painting. Yeah. So I was sip and paint or something like that. And that I was there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so when I leading up to today, you know, I was thinking about that in relation to art therapy, and if there's a, you know what I mean, a puff on pee and tar, you know, something like that. So,
well, how about that?
I'm joking. You know, but yeah, kind of still.
I told food and paint.
You know.
But yeah, no. So you see, like I thought of doing like sip and paint events and stuff like that, but because there's so many of them,
yes,
because I've got this whole, like, you know, art therapy mindset to it, it's either I'm going to do it for fun, so right, and it's just going to be for fun. There's not a therapeutic aspect to it, because especially if there's like alcohol involved or anything like that, and you know, in a different way to doing an art therapy session. where you know this is what you're coming to do,
Mm-hmm.
and when you come, there's questions that are going to be asked that are going to make you open up. It's not just about you know. So there's
no, definitely. The reason why I was saying that as well, though, sis, is because sometimes we treat escapism like it's therapy.
Yeah.
Just I'm saying, when it's not, when it can be part of it, but it's not necessarily therapy. Yeah. And sometimes we medicate like that, Italy, so to speak, but we're not actually addressing anything.
So like going back to the coloring books, when you were saying that is, you know, we're saying something people do for relaxation. It's you're coloring in the book, but what's missing is that tap to the deeper subconscious side of what was going on while you were coloring. Because you know, when you're coloring in, you're mindlessly thinking things going through your mind and stuff. But when you close the book, you don't really address what was going through your mind when you was coloring in.
Point taken. We got a question in the chat. It says, "Hi, bro. Hi, CeeKa. Are you able to do an open community session online?"
Yes. So this is something since lockdown started that I've wanted to do, but it's just right now an aspect of dynamics of space and getting everything set up right. But that is something that I will be doing very, very soon. As I was saying to you before, that I'm involved in restoring the art centre in Tottenham.
I'll ask about that in a sec, but yeah, go.
Yeah, art centre, and you know, once that's done in September, then I will be doing group sessions, individual sessions, and also online sessions.
Thank you very much. Kesheniwa, I like that name. You know, if you don't mind me probing, I'd like to know where the name comes from and what it means. Thank you very much, Kesheniwa Agaji. We do. So I'm a bit of I love African. I like to visit African names. It's my thing. I just like to know the names and where it comes from, what culture, where, you know what I'm saying, the meaning and that and something there. So yeah, whenever I see a name, I gotta investigate. You know what I mean? Spoken Word says, "I have a psychology degree, counseling and worked in mental health. Everything learnt was from a Euro perspective. Having suffered mental health issues myself, I saw clearly the lack of support." Yeah. And he says, "Spoken word was and is my healing." And you know, as a spoken word artist, I can say that is something, like, to be able to write and express, and like, I'm not as on the scene as I used to be, and I feel the impact of it. Like, you know when you used to, or you've got into a rhythm of doing something, when you don't do it. KRS-One says, if we don't repeat the actions of our own success, we won't be successful. So yeah, you know what I mean. Amos got a question as well. He says, "CeeKa, have you done any workshops in any mental institutions that have our young people? If you have, what effect has your work had?"
I haven't as yet, no. And that's you know, that's something that I am, because I'd say in the past 2 years, my Inside My Art project business has been set up and running, and it's a lot of communicating. I'm in communication with a few councils, getting into the youth offending teams, because that's the way in, and also the young offenders institutions themselves. These are conversations that I'm actually getting up and running now, because I would like to get in and work with our young people in those settings. You know, my background, as I said, is working with young people. Originally, I worked in the youth offending service in Haringey in Tottenham, and I was there for like 9 years, quite a while. You know, and that is one of the reasons as well that has pushed me to want to do this.
Yeah, man. I was going to ask about this as well, but yeah, once you beat me to it, you are an entrepreneur as well, and I was wondering if you could talk about your brand, Good Juju. Yeah, that was there. More Good Juju around here. Was that born out of what you do with your art therapy?
Well, that was born out of me being an artist. So, you know, that's like Good Juju is, I do clothing. So this is one of my brandings here. I make jewelry. I do, like, I've got like some teacups at the moment. on my website, but that's all around just me being a
You
creative.
got some crepes too as well. Don't forget the crepes.
I got some crepes on there as well. But, that's literally as a child growing up in a Pan-African house. My parents weren't into the buying the designer name brand Moschino and this and that. So I got creative. You know, I'd get creative and just try and redesign my own clothes and stuff like that. So that's where that comes from. More than say therapy, but then that has been my therapy as well.
Yes. Look, I'm gonna get you to share all the information, websites, stuff like that at the end. So stay tuned for that. But you're not gonna get away from this music thing today, you know, sis, because Lounge Alone is in the chat.
Wow.
Yeah, Lounge Alone is in the chat. You know, Lounge Brown is in the chat. It says, my long time friend from MySpace days. She makes beats too. Yeah, bro. We hotted her up earlier about the beat making thing. But yeah, I as I was saying to CeeKa, I'm gonna say it to you as well, Lounge. I owe you a debt of gratitude, both of you. He's serious. But the two of you, when Amosu Awayemi, aka Gallant, came to Messiah Storm, he came armed with them Lounge Alone beats and Ken beats. So we give thanks, you know what I'm saying, like for both of you. Yeah, man, and the contribution that you've made, yeah, to even my own legacy in terms of artistic expression, you know, and hosting that event is beautiful. So yeah, man. One day I'm gonna jump on the Lounge Alone beat too. Lounge Alone didn't even know, you know, like he knew I did spoken word, but I think he saw me rapping on Wordsmith, the gotkushTV show once. He didn't know I rapped in it, which I don't do all the time. But yeah, man.
Spoken word rap.
Yeah. I flex the muscle. You know, I flex that muscle every now and then. We love it. Yes, so in that respect, now question that's interesting to me. Coming out of something that King Gold asked you, and obviously, breaching no confidentiality, yeah, in terms of your clients. But an example of like, because you said that obviously what they draw can be a reflection of what they're thinking or what they're going through. But you said also the tools that they use, yeah. So just a random example, like. What kind of thing might you interpret from a specific tool? Like, say I come in and I want a charcoal. Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with the paint. I want the charcoal. Yeah, what might you interpret from that? And I know that's a difficult question to answer, but yeah.
Oh, it could be that you want to try and keep some control. Because paint is more fluid,
right?
You know, just like an example kind of thing.
Yeah.
I would interpret it. What I would say to you is, I'd probably observe and say, oh, you know, I observed that you went to choose the paint and then you decided on the charcoal. Was there a reason around that kind of thing? It's all open-ended, like Socratic questioning to get you to think about, why did I pick the charcoal instead of the paint? And then, if you picked, say, black charcoal and there was other colors, what was it that attracted you to the black charcoal? When you made the first mark on the paper, how did it feel? You might say, oh, the sound, it reminded me of a time when, or, you know, you might say that because, you know, like with charcoal, sometimes on paper, it doesn't make like a fluid line. That might make you feel agitated. You might say, when I was trying to draw, it wasn't solid on the paper and that was making me feel agitated. And then we could talk about that feeling there. You get what I'm saying? So
yes.
It just brings up so many things in so many different ways. And that's what I love about art therapy.
Beautiful. Kesheni was answered my question. And you know, I'm thinking, I do know a Kesheni. So I wonder if I know this person. If I know you, let's say I know you. And yeah, let me know. But she says Kesheniwa. My full name is Kesheniwa Chichel Sateni. Yeah, I hope I'm pronouncing that wrong. It means song of, I'm not sure it's supposed to be, the ancestors to bring the people home. In old Kemetic Nubian language, Agaji is my married name, means royalty with estate. Beautiful. That's a powerful name. I'm assuming. Yeah, I'm trying to break down the two names into the interpretation. I'm wondering if Kesheniwa is song of the ancestors, and the Tichel Sateni is bringing the people home. Related to bringing the people home. I think I'm guessing, but yeah, it's a powerful name. All right, kings and queens. We have a question here in the chat. It says, "Are there many Black artists who are art therapists?" I think I asked it before, didn't it?
Yeah, I couldn't answer that question. Based on what I know, there are some, but I can't say how many, as in many or a small amount.
Sorry, go on.
One thing, the brother from America, what he reminded me of is when I was doing my research, was that most of the research I found around art therapy working with people in the Black community was from America or Canada.
Okay.
So it's something that there are probably more in America and Canada than there are in the UK.
Powers. Lounge alone, all beats gratefully received. Yeah, that's what I've got to say in it. All beats gratefully received. Yeah, so I need to do my shadow boxing. You know what I mean? So yeah, all beats gratefully received. I'm sure this must be CeeKa, not Cheeks, but Kasheni. Why I say, and yes, we do know Kasheni. So yeah, give thanks to our sister for joining us. She says, "I would love for you to do a community session during the Halo Festival, end of October, which is the tomb. Sorry, when the ancestors are closest, the time when the ancestors are closest to us. It's from the 29th to 30th and 31st of October to the 1st of November. Yeah.
Okay. So anybody who's interested in anything I've spoken about, or would like to contact me about doing sessions or working with them, you can find me on Facebook on Inside My Art Project, and you can find me on Twitter on Inside My Art. The email is insidemyartproject@gmail.com, and the website is insidemyartproject.com. So you can get me on any of those avenues, and send the information through, and then we can talk about that, because that sounds interesting.
Yeah, man, beautiful. Give thanks for that, and do let us know at gotkushTV about the event. You know what I'm saying? We'd like to know about that, so see what we can do in terms of raising the profile. Brother IC3 says, "Is mental health a matter of cultural perspective?"
I don't know. The question, I'd have to get a little bit more. Mental health, culturally, there's something in each culture that is going to address it. Might not address it in the way that it's addressed in Western society, but it's addressed. I always remember a story about the Zulu warriors when they would return from war. And before they were allowed to go back into the village with everybody, there was a place where they had to go to get war out of their system. That's a form of therapy. That's dealing with their mental health. So culturally, mental health is mental. There isn't there's no mental health. It's just that it's described and acknowledged in different ways in different cultures.
I think that he may be intimating that what is considered a mental ill health and mental health might be different culturally speaking, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Because as I was saying, there's things like depression, anxiety, like things that people call small things, that might be disregarded culturally because we don't have time for that. We don't have time to be sitting down and wallowing in our problems. We have to get up and move. We have to work. We have to pay. But, yeah.
I thought that was coming. I was waiting for it, but yeah. Yeah.
I guess it's a matter of cultural perspective in how it's approached, or even how it's taken, if it's taken seriously or not.
Yes.
I don't know, maybe ask another question if I haven't answered this question properly.
No, that's fine. Kesheni Wa says, "I will be doing Love Unleashed working with art and the word love to clear negative energy and bring it into positive energy. So bring it in positive energy to replace it. Let's come together for African therapeutics." Yeah, so I think she wants to do some work.
So contact me, and then we can take it from there.
Message from Yard says, "CeeKa, this is Jennifer from Yeshimabet Wholistic Care Foundation in Jamaica. Your mom told me to listen. I want to say great works on." Can I just say, big it up, Yeshimabet Holistic Care Foundation.
Yes.
At the beginning of lockdown, I did on this channel on gotkushTV. I do a show called In the Insight, and I was able to big up Yeshimabet Holistic Care Foundation for the work that they were doing in providing food for the community in Jamaica at the beginning of the lockdown. So you feature in that video, Yeshimabet Holistic Care Foundation. So big up yourselves. So check it out.
Yeshimabet. So Sister Jennifer works with my mum. My mum lives in Jamaica. Before retiring, my mum worked here as a mental health practitioner. So that's also where a bit of this, me being interested in mental health and psychology comes from. And Yeshimabet is a organization that my mum has set up with Sister Jennifer and other brethren and sisters in the Rastafari community. And they do health days, they do community work for elders in the Rastafari community, but also elders within the wider community as well. And that, as well as me being involved in my art project, that's also a project that I am a part of, and I've set up a Facebook page for. So you will see me promoting stuff to do with them. I'm going to be launching a GoFundMe for it as well very soon, because they do like food drives where they go around and give out food to people, and they're doing a lot of work. So yeah, I just wanted to.
So big up Yeshimabet, big up the House of Dread. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these things. Big up yourselves out there in Jamaica, Kings and Queens. Kesheniwa says, bear in mind our Ori head in Yoruba is our highest Orisha. Yeah. And that comes back to this question about spirituality. Like, so just to explain that, in the Ifa or the Isese spiritual tradition comes out of the Yoruba people in West Africa. The Ori is a part of the spirit, yeah, and it literally means head, but it relates to consciousness, yeah, and it's what connects us to the material world in terms of our personal physical manifestation, the physical world, the material world to the immaterial world, yeah. And so all in ritual, if you're giving an offering, for example, to wherever, you would often first begin by placing that offering on your head, because your head must accept the receiving or the giving of the offering, if that makes sense. And so there are all these rituals that relate to us being able to focus on our consciousness within the Ifa spiritual system. Do you know what I'm saying? And before you any prayers that you're giving, you must first go through your Ori. Your own consciousness must be in tune with what it is that you're doing. So yeah, there's some beautiful ways when you study Ifa spirituality that the consciousness comes into focus consistently throughout daily rituals, communal ceremony, whatever it is. So yeah, just to explain that a little piece. So give thanks for that, Sister Kesheniwa. Appreciated. All right, so we're gonna wrap up the thing. You know what I'm saying? So anything lastly that you might want to say before we get to the the logistics of where you're there and what you're doing? Anything that you might come out of the conversation that you might want to touch on?
I'll just, if there is more that people want to speak about and they'd like to hear another talk, then I'd be happy to come back and do another show with you in the future. And to just, seriously, don't take mental health as like a taboo thing that, you're ashamed of talking about. And if you know somebody who has mental health issues, don't use it to shame them or, put them down, because it's something that is really important that we talk about and that we're open about as a community. That's my message. Yes,
give facts. Yes. So let them know where they can find you, or your social media presence, and if you've got anything coming up that they need to know about, let them know.
For the art therapy, you can find me on Inside My Art Project. You can find me under that name on Facebook. The website is insidemyartproject.com. Instagram is Inside My Art, and Twitter is Inside My Art as well. On my website, as I was saying to you before, I've got a art therapy card deck that I designed. So I designed art therapy resources and stuff as well. And it's a card deck that gives you multiple art therapy activities that you can do in your spare time at home. So you can find that on insidemyartproject.com. And as Amusu potted me up, you can find my merchandise, so my jewelry, earrings, clothing, teas, teacups on thatgoodjuju.co.uk. And you can find all of my crafts and artwork there as well. I've got some artwork up on there too. And yeah, that's it, because there isn't a platform up for my music at the moment.
Stay tuned, kings and queens. I'm gonna be hunting down them CeeKa soon. But yeah, my sis, it's an honor and a pleasure to profile your work on gotkushTV. It's our duty, it's our responsibility, but I'm also honored, to have you on. I just love to profile the works that are happening in our community, especially those that people don't know about. It's all beautiful to bring on, the headline name there, like we've interviewed like Lord Jamar recently. Everybody knows. Yeah, we interviewed him, you know what I'm saying? But these ones are in some ways are even more special for me, you know what I'm saying? In terms of, just some grassroots work that is taking place and being able to shed light on it. For the sake of our community. So thank you, sis. I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to put you in the back, but don't go away yet. I want to just have a word with you with that, yeah? But thank you.
Thank everybody for listening to me.
Yes,
thank you lots.
Blessings, kings and queens. All right, family. So that was that. You've heard CeeKa DaCrafta addressing art therapy. This is what gotkushTV is about, kings and queens. We're able to shed some light on some serious works that are taking place in our community. And I want you to please appreciate, the value of the work that our sister is doing. And please, if you or anybody that you know would benefit from such a service, we encourage you. We encourage you to get in contact with our sister and let her know, let her know, say, we need, some assistance, and she'll be glad to assist you, kings. I want to make you aware of the fact that on Sunday, the 26th of July, we have an event taking place, kings and queens. Yes, indeed. It is entitled Black Lives Matter, Black Power, Reparations, featuring Esther Stanford Jose, Leo Mohammed, and Jendai Serwa, those who are members of the Stop the Ma'anga campaign, as well as organizers of the African Emancipation Day Reparations March, kings and queens. They will be going through and delving into the connectivity and the differences of these three approaches to organization and nation building, and basically letting you know how you can get involved in the thing. The event is absolutely free. You must register. In order to register, you can visit us at gotkushTV.co.uk/events. gotkushTV.co.uk/events. Register and come through, kings and queens, in your tens and your thousands for hear some activists in our community, and let you know how you can build upon and join in with the unified efforts to secure reparations for African people. Want to let you know. Is there any other add-on? Check out gotkushTV.co.uk in general, kings and queens, you know what I'm saying? And more things to come, more quarantine convos, more we're approaching the month of Messiah, that's what I wanted to say. So we're gonna be doing some Messiah, work, leading up to the month of Messiah. It's a special one this year because we are also celebrating the 100th anniversary since the adoption of the red, black, and green flag as the flag of the African diaspora, of the African nation in the making, as designated at the International Convention of the League of Peoples of the World in 1920. Do stay tuned for more information regarding that, kings and queens. Like up the video. If you're watching right now, you have not liked the video, like the video, please. We want to thank you for joining us today on Quarantine Convos, kings and queens. Do check out our video selection for more of our videos. In particular, yesterday we had our Decipher Lockdown Live, kings and queens. Check out Decipher. More episodes to come later on in the month. We are gotkushTV, your #1 Black conscious media platform coming out of the UK. It was a pleasure to host you today, kings and queens. Always remember, you ain't got nothing if you ain't got
Gotkush TV. After a stellar 2019, your #1 Black conscious media platform is getting ready to go into overdrive for 2020. As we promised, last year, we launched The Inside. We premiered the pilot for the Black Group Economic Show. We dropped 2 new seasons of Wordsmith, the #1 platform for artists with a message in the music. We've seen you out on the road, the Black Carpet Awards, the Reparations March, the Legacy Center of Excellence, and more. We brought you Dr. Mumbi, the legendary Bob Andy, Queen Diambi, Kemi Seba, Esther Stanford Hossein, Leo Mohammed, Brother Leader Badaka, and more. And now, 2020 is set to see gotkushTV taking it to the next level. First up, look out for the official launch of the gotkushTV website, your official portal for all things GKTV, including new shows, news, views, and reviews, soon to be serving you with advertising opportunities and the launch of the GKTV African market. gotkushtv.com will also be a global hub for all things Black, conscious, and empowering from all over the Black world. Black achievers, Black excellence, education, health, positive Black imagery, entrepreneurs, Black brands, and charity work. All this and more can be found here at gotkushtv.com. Then there's the new shows. Decipher, the dynamic discussion and debate show. Health is Wealth, practical tips for living in wellness. Kush Communiversity, home of Black Warrior Scholarship. And UK Fire Entertainment, bringing you a slew of music videos for your listening and viewing pleasure. Look out for more of The Insight, Wordsmith, and the full 3rd season of the Black Group Economic Show, all coming your way soon. As always, the GKTV film team is available for hire to cover your events and all filming needs. Visit us at gotkushtv.com for hire inquiries and more information. Stand by all Black businesses through our website, social media, and show content. We have monumental advertising, sponsorship, and network opportunities catering especially for you. gotkushTV is about to take off. To join us for the ride, there's 4 things you can do. 1, subscribe to our channel. Hit that bell to make sure you don't miss a release. Join us on all social media and hit up gotkushtv.com to subscribe to our mailing list for exclusive opportunities in the near future. 2, like. Let us know you're feeling our content by hitting that ever so important button of approval. 3, comment. We want to hear your feedback on everything we're putting out, so make sure your presence is felt in the comment section. 4, share. Spread the word by hitting that share button and exposing your circle to the magnificence that is gotkushTV. We look forward to building with you throughout 2020 and servicing you with high quality Black media production. gotkushTV, beyond discussion, beyond debate, we put the power in Black media. gotkushtv.com is